I've been watching as Bernie Sanders has been responding to this. Obviously he's been very equipped and talented in terms of digital communication for some time, but instantly the transition over to sort of digital town halls, like getting doctors and experts in and talking with them. What do you think about some of what he's called for? Like he very early on laid out like 3 principles for what should guide the government response. What do you think about his approach to dealing with the pandemic?
I think his policies now are seen as needed by a large chunk of the country. I mean, he's been saying that we needed health care for everyone before the pandemic. And now, when millions of people are losing their job, they see the need for that. And by the way, it's not just let's get tested for COVID-19 or let's get treated for COVID-19. What about the millions of other people who are going to be uninsured and suddenly don't have health care? Don't they need health care? Don't we want to keep them healthy so that they're less exposed to COVID-19 or can recover if they were exposed? So his response there about extending at least temporarily Medicare for everyone is spot on. He has called for the vaccine being free. I can't believe you even have to call for those kind of things. He said that the treatment should be free. He has said that we need a moratorium on rents, that we need to get money into the hands of people, not just on a one-time basis, but for nearly a year so that people have time to recover. So I think what this crisis has shown is that the fragility of our economic system. There are those of us who have the opportunity to work remotely in the comforts of our home. And yes, we are also at risk and our families are at risk, but it's a different view than those who are still having to go to work because they need the paycheck, who are struggling to get health insurance. And this crisis has just highlighted the economic disparity that Sanders has been warning us about.
Yeah, it certainly seems like if more and more people are accepting that they should not, become infected with coronavirus or die of coronavirus because they can't pay for it, that it's not that huge of a leap to say, well, then why should I die of diabetes or heart disease or respiratory illness or a million other things? And so I too feel like this might be a moment where people will wake up to this. I'm curious if you've seen any indication that maybe some of your colleagues who haven't necessarily been supportive of Medicare for all or any form of single-payer healthcare, if they might sort of get that we would have been far better positioned to weather this pandemic if we already had a system like that in place, if people's health insurance was not tied to their job in a time when millions of people are losing those jobs. Do you see any sign of that?
I haven't seen it yet with colleagues. Now, candidly, we've been all focused on the immediacy of the stimulus and coronavirus, so I don't think those conversations have taken place. But where I have seen it is with people in my district, some of them more affluent, some of them engineers, professionals, who never thought they would lose their health insurance, suddenly vulnerable, suddenly having to navigate a health system that is way too complex, and they're understanding it.
Congressman Ro Khanna, we really appreciate any time you can make for us, and good luck in pushing your colleagues in the right direction in this response to the pandemic. There's a lot of people that desperately need the help.
Thank you, and I would just say that I know there was a cheap shot about Italy being single player. Italy's problem was capacity, but when you look at South Korea and other countries that have had single player, they've done very, very well.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more. Thank you, Representative Khanna.
Thank you.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.